Hello everybody, welcome to another Vortex video, and today we get to talk about the Roni again. This little thing, as you can see, I put a nice little Vortex Crossfire optic, red dot optic on there. Really not a bank breaker, this thing. Gives you quite a nice red dot for about 4 and a bit thousand rand retail, which is pretty epic. I took it to False Bay Sports Shooting Club and I put it through her paces a few times on a couple of different things. The one is I was shooting a clean IDPA target at about 25 meters. And the first time I shot it, due to technical ineptitude, didn't film it. So I had to re-film it, reshoot it with the camera. But I recorded the results of both. And ultimately, I did the exact same drill on both attempts. And you'll see it in the video I'm going to play for you after we have this little chat. So I put it through its paces there, and I was also shooting at head size plates, about that big, at 50 meters with this thing. And on the first attempt, I rang them 5 times out of 5. The second attempt, I only got 3 out of 5. And then after wrapping up the shooting, well, the filming rather, I went back and I did another couple of runs with whatever ammo I had left, and the results were kind of similar. 5 times out of 5, and then a 3, and then a 4, and then a 5. Bearing in mind, I am an average shooter. I'm not a professional shooter. I'm not a highly skilled shooter. I don't have the time or money. Well, I've got the time now. I don't have the money to spend a lot of time on shooting ranges to become like super proficient. So what the Roni allowed me to do, this thing allowed me to do, is it allowed me to put shots on target that I otherwise would not be capable of doing just with a handgun alone. But before we unpack this conclusion, we're going to cut now to the range. I'm going to talk some nonsense. I'm going to be shooting, take you through that whole process, and then we'll come back to the studio and I'm going to conclude this. So see you now. Hello, it's Roni and I'm here at False Bay Sports Shooting Club with the Roni, with the Vortex red dot on her, and she's already been zeroed. I've got a clean IDPA target at 25 meters, which I will be shooting at in a bit, and I've got 5 plates hanging at about, well, 4 plates hanging at 50 meters. So this should allow me, as someone who's not particularly skilled, to hit those plates maybe not as consistently as I'd like. Bear in mind, I've tried hitting those plates from here just with a normal pistol, and it's a challenge. What this will do is will allow the average person to actually hit these plates, which would otherwise be a very difficult exercise. So hopefully this can give you a bit of an intro as to how the Roni works and cycles and what it's capable of doing. Well, shoot, that was 5 for 5. That hasn't happened to me before, definitely not with a handgun. I'm suitably bloody impressed, okay? To the extent that, let's try that again. Let's try another 5. I have enough ammunition for this. And see if I can replicate that result. Probably not, because in case I haven't told you, I suck. But, I didn't expect it to go this well, so this might be a fluke. Three out of 5, but that was me. That was me. That wasn't the let me show you how far these things are. Hang on. Let's tilt her down. You see there, let me just zoom if I can. There we go. That's where the bloody things are hanging. So it's a good 50 meters from here. And on the first round I hit 5 out of 5. Whoops, let me not destabilize her too much. First round I hit 5 out of 5. Second round 3 out of 5. I repeated a shot on another target. That's how I made a 5. Something I'm not capable of doing with a pistol. I'll demonstrate that later, but for now let's actually see what the Roni is capable of doing on a IDPA target at 25 meters, and go check the results. Okay, so that you guys know I'm not cheating you, let me do this thing where I get behind the camera. There's the IDPA target. Let me zoom in on it for you. There we go. Whoops. Pardon the terrible camera work. And you see she's clean. There's not, whoops, a dingles. There's not a single hole on this target, which is good. And you're going to just see me, you're just going to see me shoot now. So what's going to happen, so what's going to happen is I'm going to put 5 rounds downrange onto the IDPA target, and I'm going to do it, this angle's a bit funky, that's a bit better. I'm just going to let the dot, put it in the middle of the IDPA target, squeeze off the shot, allow the dot to settle again, squeeze off the second shot. So I'm not going to take time to aim properly again between shots. So here it goes, and let me stand a bit back so you can actually see the Roni working. That's not too bad. Bar's a little bit to the left, but that was me. Let me show you what we've done. Let's get this bad boy off the tripod. Come to daddy. Okay, let's go check. This isn't going to be as pretty as I'd like it. I did one prior to this, but I messed up recording it, so I had to do this again, and that result was actually better than this one. This is way biased to the left, but still, the previous one I got all the shots in there. In fact, I'll show that to you. But this is not bad, considering my lack of skill, considering a whole bunch of things that make me me. I'm suitably impressed with what this little device is capable of. Here, hang on. Let me show you this one. This is the one I did that I didn't film. Prior, I had to refilm everything, but this was the result of my previous attempt, and that's all pretty much in the alpha, to call it, you know, to use the IPSC, IPSC terminology, and that was the exact same exercise I just did. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. We'll go cut to studio after this, and then we'll talk some more about it. Okay, we're back. I hope you had fun with that. So to carry on where we left off, the Roni, does it have a point? What does it help me achieve? Firstly, this thing is not going to give you 1 minute of angle accuracy at 100 meters. It's just not, that's not what it's built for, okay? But it's going to give you improved reasonable accuracy at engagement distances 25 to 50 meters and maybe even out to 75. And you know what, if you know what you're doing, you might even get some decent hits on like a man-sized target at 100 meters with this. The thing is, this does improve accuracy for reasons already unpacked in the previous video. 4 points of contact versus 2, because you've got shoulder, cheek weld, gun hand, support hand on this thing, and then you've also got the optic, which is going to be better than iron sights, right? It also improves your rate of fire because of improved recoil control. So this just comes back into your shoulder pretty straight. There's very little bouncing around, and as you saw from my previous demonstrations, you can shoot quite rapidly with this, and there's no real, in fact, there were no reliability issues with this at all. And in fact, I saw very few reliability issues with these things when guys shoot them at IPSC competitions. So I'm not too worried about reliability degradation on this. It definitely works perfectly fine from that point of view. So it improves your accuracy. It definitely improves your rate of fire. And you can fit accessories to it. I definitely, if this was something I was going to use defensively, I would put a weapon light on the side here. And this optic, something like a Vortex Crossfire, is more than good enough. I wouldn't spend money on a really high-end optic because, you know, you're not going to achieve accuracy with this platform that the optic's going to allow you in all likelihood anyway. But coming back to what the point of this thing is, why would I recommend people get one? To rehash what I said in previous videos, if I'm traveling somewhere where I'm not going to have safekeeping facilities for like a carbine or rifle, I can leave this in my car without the handgun in it, obviously, and that's perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. And even though I can convert this thing into its carbine form, so to speak, in about, I don't know, 3 seconds or less, if I know what I'm doing, I'm not going to be shoving my handgun in here under fire or under duress. That's not going to happen, okay? So, that's not part of this process. You would stage this ahead of time, like either at night before going to sleep, or if you know you're going into an area where things are a bit dodge, or if you're expecting a higher risk element for where you're traveling, so you stage this in advance, okay? You would put your handgun in there in advance to make sure it's nice and secure. You're not going to fumble with this in the dark. And it will give you that sort of simulated carbine experience or functionality, which is really what you would then be looking for. So it definitely has its purpose, especially with an optic, a weapon light, and a sling on it. Also, cost and licensing wise, you don't have to license this at all. If you had to buy a 9mm carbine, of which there are some really awesome ones out there. I mean, the Pakistani Ordnance Factory MP5s were in stock at one stage. I haven't seen any of them in a while, but they are epic. Then there was the Strebog, and there was also one from, gosh darn it, there was a CZ Scorpion, the new variant, the Evo, I think. I know the Strebog retails for over 20k. I don't know what the Scorpion goes for, but it's definitely not as cheap as this thing. I mean, this, if you just buy it naked without the optics and not in kit form, you're going to be paying about 4,000, 4,100 Rand for one of these things, which is considerably cheaper. And I mean, it's a quarter of the price, a fifth of the price. It's a fifth of the price of a Strebog. Not that it will outperform the Strebog. Not that it will do the Strebog's job. This is in essence still a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 plugged into a polymer frame. Let's not take that out of, let's not lose sight of that. Your terminal ballistics aren't going to be improved. A whole bunch of stuff isn't going to be improved with this, but it has its place. Can't leave your Strebog lying in your car. This costs a fifth of that. And ultimately, if you're looking for a specific solution for a, you know, private defense, self-defense, or sporting purpose, and you do not feel like or cannot drop money on a real carbine and a whole bunch of other things, this has its place. Where can you get this? Well, there's a whole bunch of retailers around the country that have them. I got mine from, well, this is a CHS Guns demo model, the one I infamously dropped. Okay, you can see the little nick there. I'll link them in the description to this video. And all that I can say is I'm suitably impressed with what this thing allowed me to do. I see a point for it. I think it's cost effective. If you want one, I can recommend getting one. If you want me to do more tests on it, let me know. If there's anything specific you'd like me to try out. I mean, I'm not a review expert. In the meantime, if you like Paratus, please buy Vortex coffee via the link in the description below this video. And you can also donate to us via the SnapScan and Zapper links, which are going to come on now in the credits section. I'm also going to refer you to the previous video I did on the Roni, the short little review unpacking things. So that's it from me. Like I said, if you've got any further questions, comments, whatever, let me know and we'll take it from there. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day and see you soon.